themselves, not wanting to get hit by that demotion. We need to now see them innovate. They talked about it on the desk. What we see from Supermassive Blaze is always the very same. And coming out with the chamber instead of the Killjoy does start to set something in motion that we might see a little bit of difference coming from this team.
Yeah, we definitely will be seeing some changes. Obviously, they need to bring out their A game. They need to bring out the strats that they may not have brought out so far because they can't afford a loss. Two very distinct storylines here. Supermassive Blaze, no match win in the past 2 months. And for Rebels, they were one of the favorites from the Valorant Regional League. So let's see how this one works out as Janny picks up first blood heading towards the A side. But it's a fairly slow approach as they move in. Aljoin clearing up the space. They're actually amping up the pressure now. Lynxy doubles it up. Musashi also wants a piece of that pie. But it means that Zistu and Glove are both locked out of it. And up against 5, not going to be an easy one.
Yeah, especially now you've already used that Sage Wall to try and slow this approach down. Rendezvous going to be coming through, so Musashi still is able to find that ground that they're looking for. Zistu is just sidelined right now, trying to find anything with the Headhunter.
Yeah.
The Rebels are just waiting. They're playing the clock.
Yeah, there's no reason to play aggressive here, is there? There's no reason to go all pushy. But Musashi from the backside will be able to take down Zistu, and Rebels start things off strong.
Yeah, Rebels now taking that pistols do set themselves up to come in the favorite on this round. Whether we're going to see Supermassive Blaze try and go for the force onto the Marshal, it can be really good on the defense. If you have something like a Jet just set up in rafters, it can be really hard and force a lot of that utility if you do want to try and contest belt. But in the long run, if you lose the force, that sets your economy back so much. And so we are just seeing the full eco coming out from this team. It's not the gamble, it's the wiser, more logical choice, but it does put them at a massive disadvantage in this fight.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit difficult here. Zistu wants to go for something aggressive. But yeah, we don't really expect too much from SMB when it comes to this particular round, right? We're not looking at weapons. So I guess this gives us room, Moxie, to kind of talk about your expectation in this matchup, right? Because we're talking about quite aggressive teams on both ends, maybe of different caliber. What are your thoughts generally coming into this?
So you're seeing the big difference in the playstyle with the Sage, especially the fact that Rebels do want to go aggressive and SMB are really relying on Brave Sage Wall to come through and stop that aggression. The problem is that Yanni doesn't really care about the Sage Wall. You just updraft right over it and Rebels gets to move forward and all of that really precious utility from SMB is denied. As it's going to be a little bit harder for SMB. We talked about it. We're not expecting them to find anything. They were looking for a pick. If they can manage to take some of these members from Rebels down, then that's going to be huge, but it's just not happening.
It doesn't look like it. It's completely clean from the Rebels side. Don't drop a single player. That's how you like it when you've got the better weapons, and they'll be able to double up their scoreline.
Yeah, Flawless going to be coming on through. But for SMB, we expected that outcome. This is the round that's really going to dictate the tempo of the next couple of fights, especially in terms of that defense on the economy. Because if Rebels do want to just continue getting aggressive, moving onto these sites, bulldozing SMB's impact in this space straight out from under their feet, on the defense, you need to have the weaponry to be able to stand up to them. If you get caught in that horrible vicious cycle of eco into full, lose the full, back onto the eco, and SMB are never going to be able to find the momentum to start taking IceBox.
Brave is going for a walk here. Instantly taken down. Okay, quite an aggro approach to gain that early info, maybe a pick, but it will be just that. He does figure out that there is movement to go on towards this A site position as the rest of Rebels look to move across. And it wouldn't be too bad of an endeavor if they were able to carry this win over, but it's not going to be easy. Already SMB kind of lined up, a lot of defensive resources put in place, but Janny is starting to approach, looks to draft on top of his opposition, quickly getting one, but it seems that Izzy will be taking care of him very quickly. Spike has been heard, Zistu close by, but the shock dart will close out that deed, which means we're down to a 2-on-2 duel. Glove coming in also from mid for reinforcements, wading in to kind of move in with his teammate to get this double-sided approach, but it seems that Rebels have been able to upgrade their weapons. Rifles all across the board. Lynxy close by. You can smell his position is quicker to the trigger up against Izzy, and now Glove is all that remains, but not for too long. Gatch takes care of him. Rebels do not falter.
Yeah, it's a really mean toxin screen coming from Lynxy too. It cuts off that approach from mid. You can't get through cleanly from Boiler. Forces you to take that fight on the site. And Rebels, you can see, they're just up in the high ground. They've climbed up the zip wires. There's no punishment right there. They can just hold that crossfire. And we're going to be seeing a very early SMB timeout coming on through, as they know they can't afford to let this chip away at their mentality. They have to think about how they're going to go into this economy-wise, start to put a game plan into place, as we're seeing a lot of the time when the chamber comes through on IceBox, right, that you anchor onto the B site, very similar to how Vipers used to in the past, because you do have the rendezvous. So if you do get challenged in Garage, you can just use the get out of jail free card to get the information of whether a team is pushing through, but still escape with your life. But we're not really seeing that coming from SMB, and you can sort of see that they're trying to figure out how they do want to play this chamber in to their composition. But hopefully we do get Caesar to just go a little bit more aggressive, because Brave was the one who tried to go for that early touch of contact, and Sage doesn't really have that exit potential that's open to the chamber, does she?
Yeah, no, and I don't know how patient we can be with SMB, right? Because I think we've been patient with them for a couple of months now. I guess it did come to the server on time this time around, so they will have a full match to play with. But I mean, they are in a very, very difficult spot, right? Playing on VCT, grand opportunity, not utilized to its entirety, and now and then the lower bracket straight out of the bat. So without a map victory, it's really going to pay a big role to their mental.
Well, this time they're getting the information on those players and battles. The Recon Bolt going to be picking that one up, as it's just a lone Sova towards that A site right now, and you're not going to last very long. Cider already down. Remaining members of SMB, they'd gone for the gamble stack. Look at the buy that they were coming in on. They were really hoping that Rebels would push into them, but now they're going to have to intrude in on that A site. Yeah,
I mean, it's been handed over. SMB kind of needed to respect that, really. Not the best weaponry to kind of deal with this again. As you talked about, it's getting a little bit out of grasp, and now it's kind of around where they can fill it up again. But doing some damage wouldn't be too bad of an argument, really. They want to see if they can kind of bring themselves closer to the score of Rebels as soon as possible. Yeah, but let's see. Doesn't seem that Rebels are giving them too much of a chance. There's a crossfire setup all across the board. Shock darts thrown at them. Everything that they really have is going to be thrown at them. If they could just throw the rifles as projectiles instead of shooting bullets, they would. But I'm sure they wouldn't want to allow their opponents to grab those weapons instead. But yeah, in quick succession, everybody falls from the SMB side. It's Rebels to get themselves going with a fourth.
I mean, that would be a new kind of BM, wouldn't it? Instead of the knife kill, you just chuck a gun at that.
That'd be a new mechanic, maybe an idea for a new agent. Riot, take notes.
Just continuously throw weapons out of a really long trench coat.
Yeah, it could be like a projectile axe kind of thing, you know?
I mean,
like
this isn't a new pressing case of emergency when your defense starts to fail. It's something that we see so often for teams, especially over on IceBox. The operator's going to be coming out from Izzy. It's an expensive one. It costs them that heavy armor. And it is going to have to find something. Otherwise, SMB's economy is just going to be in an absolute dumpster fire.
Ooh, Izzy's going a little bit greedy towards mid, open things up. That's some useful information to be gathered over. And what you notice is that SMB have only got one player still onto this A sign. That is Brave. Difficult scenarios calling for reinforcements. He's also been spotted. This is getting tough. Janny looking for that shot through the wall. Spray down across the Viper's pit. It's actually done some damage, but not quite the close on Musashi. Hearing the spike, does he check his left? Musashi spots the barrel and quickly takes care of that. Now on a 4 versus 5, but Glove, he's got himself in a very interesting position, waiting for his teammates to arrive. Supermassive Blaze, no, this is the time where they need to bounce back here on the long distance. Vukashu deals with them, so Supermassive Blaze, they're starting to lose out on players, they're starting to lose out on opportunities, and this Viper's pit is so scary to push through. They've got all angles covered, Snakebite also thrown at their feet. This is not going to be easy. This is not going to be easy at all, and I think the call has been made. Just drop away, guys. Let's move away from this, save our weapons. And it seems they won't be able to do that either, because Cider's just fallen.
Yeah, the fact that the Viper's pit comes into play when the operator gets bought, that's no coincidence. Rebels know exactly what's there for SMB to try and find that momentum, that first pick that the operator can offer and give you that confidence. Of course, Rebels get a little bit too over-aggressive and try and fix things. And the second that the Viper's pit comes through, you don't have Hunter's Fury. You have absolutely nothing. It's a valiant effort from Glove to try and just drop the snake bites and flush a couple members of Rebel Gaming out from the Viper's pit and potentially towards that operator, but Rebels do not fall for it. And without the Hunter's Fury being there, there's nothing to oust them from the ultimate. At least Supermassive Blaze were able to save the operator, though.
That's a plus. Definitely an investment that keeps it going. So Rebels start to open things up now towards the B site. A new approach, lovely little toxic screen to be put, kind of giving the idea that they want to commit to the B site fairly deep as well. But Supermassive players are already reacting to this Moxie.
They also don't have a toxin screen dedicated to a site. They were waiting for Rebels to show their hands. Zistu is able to cut off Lynxy. So now Rebels don't really have that clean entrance that they were looking for. In fact, it seems like they're going to just back out.
Ooh, Zistu!
That was a little bit cheeky, Vukashu.
Yeah.
And it is punished.
It is indeed, and now they may want to move in for more. Zistu is just having fun. Okay, now that's the confidence builder you needed. Out of disadvantage, Izzy wants to join the fray, and now Musashi is all that is left. Approaching on the back line, spotting out a barrel, spotting out a play, and that is one fallen. His body chops below. Deals another kill here. Okay, Musashi, you've got 40 seconds to work with, and now from a 4v2, you've brought it down, well, from a 4v4, you've brought it down to a 4v2. You can see Zistu also, operator at hand, standing on top of the spike. Musashi just walking his way over there as silently as possible. His shoulder is spotted though, and Zistu takes him down. A quadra kill for him this round. What a perfect way to put Supermassive Blaze back in the game.
I mean, not really perfect though.
No.
They lost 3 players on a full buy after they were trying to scrape together that economy. For Rebels Gaming, that moment, when you see that first kill come through, the replay right now for Musashi, the fact that you can actually get from Kitchen Cider up in tower, it stops being about getting the spike down. It stops being about getting the next point. It's all about killing as many members as you can from SMB and damaging their economy into disrepair. Because this difference in points, it's so close to being absolutely unescapable until Sideswap comes through, but that's a beautiful knife.
Oh, Janny, he's enabled. Oh, but is he somehow scathed alive? Oh, dear. Maybe going a little bit too deep there. Janny gets shut down, but it's quickly traded back. Musashi in the smoke does not care. Rebels just woke up this round and decided to just use that key called W. And now Izzy onto their back line. Really big boy shoes to fill all by himself. And if he's not given the opportunity, there's no way they come back from this. They need to make a mistake at this point. Misses their first shot and realizes he's in way too far out of his depths, and Zistu may allow him to stay alive a little bit longer, and lifeline perhaps as Gachi has to fall. Oh, but Lynxy at the back end still, is he keeping it close? Operator at hand, spike into the open, but the shock dart will do it. Rebels shall not fall. They take over as the follow-up.
Oof. It's always a tough one, right? When you know that the Sova is just out of the fight, waiting in the wings with the shock dart, so that when you do go for that defuse, you just don't have time to be able to get it off. But we are seeing confidence now coming from Supermassive Blaze, right? They've discovered that, okay, yes, we can stand our ground, and even if Rebels Gaming do try and move in and put that spike down, we can push them back, as long as we don't allow them too much time to go for those post-plant positions. It takes so much from the defense to weed them back out of, because that's something that Rebels Gaming have been doing since the very beginning of IceBox, as that's a very early tour de force activated. It's going to be found out. And now Zistu, who was really wanting to try and snipe someone coming from pipes, is forced to relocate.
Yeah, how is Glove even alive at this point? Okay. Well, tour de force at least working out for the Supermassive Blaze side, and seems they're not quite confident of leaving everyone towards this A position just yet, but an opportunity again maybe handed over to Zistu. Has to give the respect. Musashi already making his way onto the site. They want to get the spike down, but Supermassive Blaze already with players close by. Zistu finds himself a double as they look to move forward. Rebels realize they're running out of space. They're running out of players to also contest for all these kills, but they desperately needed for some to go their way, and that's what's happened. Catch and Vukashu make it happen. Resurrection desperately trying to put SMB back on the radar here, but Hunter's Surreal will make it even more difficult. Touches Glove, and that will damage him up. Now, from the shadows, taking him towards that B site, but it means that Lynxy is left behind onto the back angle. They want to cross towards mid, but how can Lynxy deal with this? Vukashu and Lynxy both win their trades. Amongst the chaos, SMB need to drop, and it's all down to Brave now.
Oof. One Phantom. Decay comes through. Brave has to check every single angle. They have no clue where Rebels are going to be playing from, and it's going to be far, far away.
Oh dear.
Wall comes through, should allow them to get a little bit of the stick, but it's instantly shot down. I think Brave was really hoping to go for half a stick behind the safety of that Sage wall and then bait them, try and separate the fights into the 1 versus 1 where it becomes manageable. Hard, but still manageable. But that Sage wall just does not stand up to snuff. And it shatters, and SMB's hopes shatter alongside it.
You know, Zesh said Rebels is a very momentum-based team, and I mean, now they've got momentum. It's going for them, so they might as well keep it going.
Again, Supermassive plays, they're going for the gamble, they're going for the operator. They've seen that it did cost Rebels. The fact that they had to invest that Viper's Pit in the round when they were trying to deal with it. This time around, it's going to be SMB's Viper's Pit instantly cutting off all access to A. And you can see SMB are really hoping that it funnels them towards the B because there's Izzy, there's the operator primed and ready and waiting for someone to try and challenge this angle. But Rebels are being so slow.
That's incredible.
Because they know the operator's going to be there.
You know how fast they can take sites and how quickly they can get these executes, and then they just press pause so elegantly. Aljon will definitely get Izzy out of that position, which allows the rest to cross. Opportunity missed. Wall to interrupt. Again, deep toxic screen. Snakebite across the side. They actually play this far out into the open. But they back away. Not quite the full commit just yet. Ooh, allowing Gatch to get the first kill with a sneaky Omen TP. And it looks like they'll seize the opportunity to switch sides of the map.
I mean, they have to know the Viper's Pit's still in play, so the Viper is going to be there. They might not be expecting the one player that SMB has these two just waiting up towards rafters the second that your Viper gets challenged, but Brave is the one to make first contact.
And that was towards the other side of the map, hoping that could be the fake, but that is a spike. That gives all the information that they require, and now they're running out of time. 3 against 3, they need the kills, they need the space, they need the spike plant. Catch finds one, and now they have the opportunity. 7-second shock dart towards this direction, does no damage, and now they've managed to stabilize onto the back end. Brave looking to push forwards here, but it looks like Gatch gets the better of him now. Onto the upper side, Izzy comes up from the heaven, steals the coup de grace, and now SMB get themselves a second round.
They have to feel good about that one. It was a long one, but they do. They've finally been able to find a way to stop Rebels' momentum. And I mean, it's costly. It costs them that Viper's Pit. That's something that they're not going to have for a couple of rounds to go. And we're seeing for Supermassive plays when they do have the utility, when they do have the timing and the space, they are able to pull together and get these picks. They do have the mechanical skill, they do have the prowess of when to use the utilities. It's just that Rebels are just this constant force of nature that is so hard to actually stop. And when we see Supermassive plays come alive is when they have ultimates, and we have to see them really start being able to find that stopping power when they don't just have an ultimate to fall back on too.
We've seen this approach plenty of times, but the response is different from Supermassive plays. Wall coming in early. And it seems that Rebels are actually lining up towards it. Do they expect to play in the close left rafter position? Ooh, Izzy. This is up on an opportunity there. Paranoia also making the move out of the way. It's heavily stacked up here, this A site. 3 players strong. Really wanting to hold this site before it even gets attempted to be taken over.
I mean, SMB do still have control over mid, though. So they do know that they don't have to watch out for pallet. But as I say, that Glove actually crosses further away. Because they haven't seen that spike. They haven't seen anyone actually try and move from Nest towards the site. They're not sure whether it is a fake. Izzy can still hold the angle. 40 seconds left. Rebels have to make a move. Start trying to move on to these sites. Tour Force is going to make it a little bit harder for the operator to find the space to work with. As Izzy is forced away.
Well, the dash is going to be approached. Janny will get healed up a little bit, but that's not much, which means one bullet should do it. Gatch again coming through. Lynxy lighting things up. Rebels win the duels, and it means that Glove is all by himself on the site. Can't do anything about it. Zistu far away from the action. Mate has to walk a long while to even reach that front. But yeah, no, Rebels took care of that very elegantly, I might say myself.
Yeah, so it's scrappy towards the A side, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
As soon as the round starts, there's a lot of utility traded from both sides. The difference is that SMB uses everything in the Sage's kit to try and keep Rebels at arm's length. The wall, the slow up, everything that they can. And the second that that utility runs out, Rebels know, okay, well, our smokes have refreshed. We've got a Viper's Pit. We're just going to move forward. And there's nothing that SMB have in their pocket because they really banked on pushing Rebels to the brink where you only have 40 seconds left and you have to panic move onto these sites. But we know how aggressive Rebels get. It doesn't matter if they've got 40 seconds. They like that amount of time to get onto a site. That's how they play, even when they've got a full round to worry about.
That's crazy. It's crazy. The Rebels have the confidence that they're showing is indicative of how much hope everybody's had regarding their chances in this VCT promotion tournament, right? Everybody was considering, okay, they're coming in from the region, VRL Spain, Rising, one of the, probably the favorite with all those stacked teams performing in there. So, yeah, now they look to be representing that region very, very well.
SMB are actually going to be pushing very aggressively out from Garage. The buy that they're on, they are just looking for picks.
Yeah, they've been
looking
spotted.
to try and find any damage, any lasting damage that they can do. But Rebels with the rifles are just making it so much harder for them. If you look at the way that this team is approaching, they're trying to take these distance fights. They're sniffing out where SMB are instead of moving towards the sites. And even now, Gatch is just going to be there waiting to see whether or not another member from SMB is going to push out from Garage to make the trade.
Well, Zisu's got a sneaky angle. If they're going to find any damage, it's going to come from him. Oh, no. That's an ugly spray. Oh, and Lynxy, yeah, he'll capitalize on that. No issue whatsoever. The A site can be taken over. And Brave, yeah, mate, that's a classic. He'll just look to do damage. But, yeah, no, you said it well. You said it well. Rebels just knew exactly how to play this round.
Yeah. Rebels are just moving forward super aggressively, expecting SMB on that weaker bite. Ooh.
Oh.
Right. Looking to find something.
They know where he is. Just it's gonna be.
They know exactly where he is. If you can find a pick, maybe you can pick up a rifle and run away with it. But we know how fast Rebels can be. I don't think they're going to be letting that Sage get away anytime soon. And for SMB, they have to just find something. We've seen them time after time after time just hit their head against the wall that is, okay, we're buying into an operator. That buys us a couple of moments for Rebel Gaming to invest smoke or a tour de force or someone to elbow peek in rafter, on belt rather, draw the shot from rafters. It misses, Izzy's forced to relocate, and that moment is when Rebels move forward. They are so well versed in dealing with the defense that SMB is putting up, and we're yet to see them innovate and offer something new for Rebels to really try and digest.
Oh, Anders Fury. Oh, come on, third shot. Ah. Not as lucky, but surprisingly, Izzy, actually, for the first time, I believe, this game has found the first pick here. Early aggression from mid as well, catching Clover. God, that's what you need. Masashi's gone on so many lurks, and so many of them have been so precious for the team. Oh, and he's done it again. He's opened the map completely, splitting it in two, and Sidex now. What can you do here? I think he's been heard dropping down from that box, which means that they can just move into this direction, expecting him to be there. And Rebels still playing this slow game, kind of gaining that kitchen control, moving out of there. Sidex moving across the poison cloud. Oh, he's going to try and surprise them. Won't be able to do it, though. Lynxy is fast enough. And it seems that Izzy won't be able to survive for longer than that. And just like that, Rebels have just gained space, gained control, and now just going to head the spike in a direction.
No, I mean, it's last round and a half, so there's nothing stopping Zistu from trying to come in with the clutch. 1 versus 4, you don't have to worry about saving the Vandal. Should be running into a little bit of contact, actually looks away to move up to rafters before spotting the player in mid, and Gatch is just going to immediately shut any hope that SMB had of finding a moment of magic down.
Not
as the side swap comes through, and I'm worried, Pavlos. We've seen how aggressive Rebels get on their attack. I don't expect them to give any respect to SMB.
I'm still in the boat where Rebels, once they give them the momentum, they're just going to run away with it. And we're literally seeing this right now by Rebels, right? They're really not being given a chance. And I think they've been given free will to roam across maps and everything. Like, look at Masashi there. How much free real estate has he just gained right there? No, I'm not even talking about the kills, right? Even if you didn't get the kills, how much info you gain by, and how much pressure you put on your position by just holding that angle.
And this is why Chamber is so scary. Right? Because he's a sentinel, but he's a sentinel wrapped in the guise of a duelist. And it's terrifying. Because you're seeing you can move forward, you can use the rendezvous, you can get the information, you can take a fight, you can get out. But for SMB, it really is imperative, we cannot stress this enough, that they win pistols, because if they don't, Rebels put themselves at such a good position to be in match point when SMB are on a force.
If they win the pistol, it's over. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, this is the round that really decides who takes IceBox right now. And that's why SMB are being so careful, making sure they've checked all of the angles, have every bit of information they can know, and that toxin screen is just going to make it so much harder for them to work out where the players are.
Yeah, Lynxy dies straight away from that. Actually, Brave was able to quickly punish him from being picked out there. Wall, very familiar to the old way IceBox used to work, but Vikashu, oh, what on earth was that flick? Okay. Showing us how it's done here onto the close angle. Brave position, won't get spotted, and will be punishing them, finding another head, and Musashi has to drop. Okay, Supermassive Blaze may have another say in this matter by getting most of the kills here. Only will drop Izzy in this first round of the half, get themselves a very important pistol.
Yeah, that was the decider. Whether or not SMB would be playing 3 more rounds of IceBox, or whether it would be a couple more than that. And it is Brave, just unexpected on this angle. You walk right past him, doesn't even check, and finds 2. That's the moment that SMB are able to get back into this. Look at the fact that this is second round in the second half, and we're actually seeing a rifle coming out from them. They really want to hammer home being able to take this round so that they can continue, and it is going to be such a devastating loss for them. A Shakespearean tragedy if Rebels are able to win on an eco.
Well, at least Rebels have stacked up. If you can't find strength in weaponry, you might as well find it in numbers. It seems that SMB might be walking into a trap. Okay, the call has been made, and Izzy cleans up too. Musashi out of the shadows onto the backside. Can't quite help his teammate to stay alive there, so Glove takes care of that really quick. So A-Site taken over completely. Supermassive Blaze, they try to go for the stack. They had the right idea, but the execution wasn't there.
Yeah, this is why I'm such a fan of teams not going for the full eco, where you buy a couple of SMGs, but one person gets a rifle. Because you know Rebels are going to stack together. They're going to try and go for the numbers play. So even though they have the dinkier weapons, stacked together, they can still come out with kills. But that's the perfect playing ground for rifle spray. And that's exactly what Supermassive Blades bank on. And they get aggressive, they go forward, and this is the first time in the series that we're actually seeing Rebels out of their comfort zone, out of pace, out of tempo. And they're immediately calling a timeout to shut that down before SMB start to recover any more ground.
Now, Moxie, you know Excel, they've been knocked out. We both come from the Valorant Regional League of Northern Europe Polaris, so we both kind of had our hopes crushed, as they were also the first team to drop. I'm just wondering, what team are you looking at right now? What team are you rooting for now? Is Rebels in that discussion, do you reckon?
So Rebels is definitely in one corner of my mind, but Fokus, for me, are looking really strong. I think they have some really good chances to go nice and far in this series. But SMB, they have a couple more rounds. Rebels 3 points away from taking us to second map. 6 rounds. If you can get that momentum on your side, if you can turn Rebels Gaming's economy against them, you can start to close up that difference. It's doable. That's why Rebels took the timeout. They know how doable it is, that they're standing on the precipice of losing a map that was so easily, so rightfully theirs before the side swap came through.
Rebels now, as you said, with adequate guns in their arsenal, can absolutely take this one home and start building up momentum in the second half on the defense. A little bit more difficult to do, as we do know from their play style. But so far, Supermassive Blaze not really giving them too much, right? Pretty standard default approach. I've only lurked towards long so far. Kind of spotted out one of the players, but no commitment to it. And Rebels kind of know about this, but they themselves are starving from this information. So we're seeing a few smokes utilized very early on that they may not have later for the retake.
Yeah, it's sort of shoulder tap underneath the table. A little nudge of where these players are going to be. Musashi just immediately gets the tap onto Brave, and then Rendezvous out before the team can look for the
He's
trade.
given another chance here. Oh, not quite spotted. Couldn't find the head. But it seems like Gatch will be able to recover it. Spike out into the open, which means Supermassive Blaze need to find a space to get it down as he finds himself a gun now to work with. But Supermassive Blaze has at least done it. Got on the spike down, and it's a 4v3. At a disadvantage now, the defense, as they try to find their way back in.
Vakashi doesn't have recon ball either. So Rebels have to make a decision, go without information or wait for it to be up.
Well, one dark cover has come back in for them. Paranoia also catching him out, most of these players, but can they use this opportunity? It seems that Rebels are quickly to react to that. Vakashu and Jani both find the kills necessary. They take them all down in quick succession, and it's Rebels to find their way back in. 11 going on the scoreboard for them.
Yeah, so we touched on this in their attacking round, right? Rebels are a very good tempo team. They can go super aggressive from absolutely pacifist play. Recon Bolt comes up, Dark Cover comes through, go sign. Green light for Rebels Gaming. They just sweep straight onto that site. And Supermassive Blaze, they just don't have the utility to try and hold them at bay. As Izzy once again is going to opt in for the operator fight. It's going to be a little bit hard to pull off on the attack. It's so easy, so telegraphed if you do try and play from belt with that one, and you can already see the bouncer system is in place. Everyone knows how valuable that op can be. And trying to grab up this space from mid, but Rebels are looking to keep control themselves. Vakashu is going to be right there. Ooh, almost.
Oh, we both felt
head above
that.
the parapets.
Oh, that could have been. That really could have been. Oh, so much mid-pressure. I think that Aldrin spotted out 2 or 3 of them, which means they'll be still kind of hesitant to taking this swing with Sashi, though. He's playing the patience game. A barrel will surely definitely show itself at some point. Oh, it's frightening, Moxie, it's frightening. Oh, Musashi swing. Oh, okay, little by little, starting to ease in. Oh, that's one. Finds another head, Musashi! Oh, quick reaction to rip 2 heads apart. Jani also follows it up. They've got a beautiful crossfire here. Okay, Rendezvous away. Enough of that. He's done his job. Yeah, Spike is collected, but what now, SMB? What now? Where'd you go? You have no room.
What was that peak?
Oh, it was insane. That's what it was.
I think maybe they were expecting, okay, Rebels are super aggressive. If someone was there, they would have pushed us by now, especially if it's the chamber, because you can push without proper punishment. And just that patience coming from Musashi again, just finds so much as he's still there.
He's incredible.
SMB, oh, it's the same mistake and it's just as costly.
Oh, Musashi, he's just loving life right now, but it can't not be the same for Supermassive Blaze, right? Obviously, this is Rebels' home ground. Obviously, this is their map, and they know how to play it, but they came in today determined to grab this quick win. This really is out of this world, and Musashi is just, yeah, showing us why they should make it into VCT. That was really good.
Pavlos, look at the buy.
Uh-oh.
It's match point for Rebels, and SMB are coming in with nothing but the kitchen sink.
Oh dear.
Straight into an operator.
Yeah, not fun, is it? Jani, well, it's fun for him. Oh dear. Oh, Supermassive Blaze. You've only won 1 map in 2 months. And it seems you won't be winning another. At least not now. You've got another opportunity to prove yourself later on, but it's done. Rebels, 13-4.